What is up, Game Brigade? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Brian, and today we are going to be diving into the late pledges that launch in the month of September. We've been doing this series for several months now, kind of going through some of the higher end campaigns that I think you might be most interested in. That way, if you miss some of these campaigns, you might have an opportunity to back them. So I'm going to run through some of these right now and to give you my perspective on some of them. So the first one is going to be Ascendency by One More Turn Games. This had nearly $500,000 in funding and had 3,520 backers. Now, Ascendency was really touted as one of the higher games when it was on, when it was originally on the crowdfunding. I can't remember if it was gamefound or Kickstarter. It's hard to know sometimes without looking it up. But anyways, this one was very, very highly touted. People loved the campaign. I remember Legion Games, who I'm friends with, very much loved this title. So there was a lot of people talking about it, and I was interested in it, but I was overwhelmed by how much content and how much stuff is here. This is a 4X experience game, which is one of my top type of games I enjoy to play, but they're not ones that hit the table very often. Ascendancy is one of those, but they've kind of found a way to try to mitigate that. The time frame for the gameplay is between 90 minutes and 480 minutes. That's a huge span. But the way they're trying to mitigate some of those longer gameplay sessions is by offering some scenario-based gameplays that are kind of more condensed versions. If you want the full experience of a full scenario, a la something like Twilight Imperium, you can opt for those 8-hour gameplays as well. The company that is making this one, One More Turn Games, reminds me of the company Nemesis Games, who developed Uprising, which is one of my other favorite 4X games. So that there's some linkage there. Now, I don't think they're not related in any way, but just the way this game was developed, the way this has been in development for 4 years, almost 5 years, really lends some credence that this is kind of a labor of love for the development company. Now, this is a worker placement game as well, so you're going to be sending your workers to different locations. If I can see them, there's a thing you pass around that basically people will take actions on their options, and then there's multiple different sections of place actions as well. So you have to decide how many actions you're going to take in the first phase as you go through different phases. So you have to kind of plan your turns out through that. It looks pretty interesting. Let's take a look at some of these pledge levels. So the core box is $97. This includes the minis for these buildings, which is also very similar to Uprising, which I think is what started triggering that initial thought process. But you're going to be getting these wooden meeples for your worker placements, as well as some of these kind of cardboard standees for the faction houses. Now, you can come down here for $157. You can get the premium bundle. This is just basically all the minis. You can see all the stuff here. It includes the premium mini stretch goals and all core stretch goals. And then they have the deluxe upgrade, which is going to include this dice tower, these metal coins, these combat dice that have been altered, as well as sleeves for the entire game. You'll see they're limiting this also now to the deluxe upgrade stretch goals. So if there's stretch goals that are only in certain pledges, you can check for that. They also have the all-in pledge for $197. You can see the price difference here going up. And this gives you the black and gold box, which is a nicer looking box in their opinion. All the stretch goals, deluxe upgrade bundles, and the premium mini bundles. Now, I was reading on a Discord that they are hoping to make this box fit a KLAC shelf. The one that was sent for the prototypes were not able to fit in a KLAC shelf. So I'm curious if when they announced what this box size will be. But you can kind of go through this and see what's in the box, get an idea of this game. It might be for you or might not be for you. It's a lot of stuff. It's a big game. It's ambitious. There's a lot of things going on. It excited me when it was on crowdfunding, but it was a little too much for me to bite at the time. I'd be interested in playing it. We'll see if it, in the future, if I ever get a chance to play this one. So that's Ascendancy by One More Turn Games. Next, we have Coloma, the new prospects. Now, this is an expansion, but you also have a reprint of the original base game. Coloma was a pretty big hit in 2019. I never played it. And Coloma, interestingly enough, if you didn't know what Coloma is the original location where gold was found in California and started the gold rush. And interestingly enough, Coloma skyrocketed to 400 residents during the gold rush before other locations in California found more gold. and more prosperous, better mining. But the current population of Coloma, according to the U.S. Census Bureau in 2020, is 390. So it's basically stayed the same size since the gold rush. I thought that was always a little interesting tidbit. So this game is a rondel action system game where you're also going to be building a tableau as you basically live the Western life of a gold miner in Coloma during the gold rush. Going through this campaign, I'm pretty excited for this game. I've never played Coloma, and I've heard relatively good things. Now, what I did, though, is I went through and I looked at what the new expansion, the new prospects, is doing, and it's taking a lot of those core mechanics that were from the original game. It even changes some of the original mechanics in the game, such as the busting and the rondel action system, making that a little bit more interesting. It changes the tableau cards, so instead of activating based on the rondel, they activate based on some of the actions that you may take to make you get more uses of your powers and abilities. It seems like the expansion here actually kind of fixed and created a better game and a more complete game. And I think I actually saw that kind of right here. They kind of talk about that right here. There was a line somewhere around here that basically said that this makes the game, what we want it to be. We think this is a gamer's game. I don't know where I saw that, but I remember reading that somewhere. And I actually tend to agree with that comment, because what I'm seeing here is an already a good looking game. And I do agree, based on all the videos I've seen here, that the expansion kind of makes this game go over the top, and I'm very excited for that. So if we take a look at the rewards, you've got, let's start at the base pledge. This is just for the expansion, so if you're looking for the new prospects, you can get that for $29. You have the Coloma Deluxe Edition. Now this is the core game. If you're looking for the Coloma with those deluxe upgrades, you can pick this up for $79. And remember, on gamefound, you can always click into a pledge level if you want to see exactly what that is included. And if you have a question what promo pack cards are, you can click that as well in here, and it'll take you to what those promo pack cards are. You can then go back and see what the deluxe upgrades are and get an idea of kind of the things that you're getting with these packs. Okay, so you've got the Pioneer Pledge for $108. You'll be getting the original game as well as the expansion. They claim that this is $133 savings based off of retail. That is probably decently priced because of the exclusive items here with the Coloma Upgrade Deluxe Kit, which is what people are going to want in the resale value when you're selling these games. Some of these meeples and additional things are going to be wanted by people. Now you can probably pick this up in retail and avoid that if you wanted to. Now they also have the mother load here for $160. They say it's about a $50 value in terms of savings. And this gets you the big box. You get everything in one box, which is great, as well as some of these meeples. You have a fistful of meeples, basically giving you a bunch of meeples to replace a lot of the tokens that are in the game already, which is cool. I am pretty excited about this one. I didn't back this one when it was on Kickstarter or on GameFound, but I'm very, very much looking forward to seeing this one, and I would love to play it. And this is becoming slowly one of my top games of this new line. Okay, so the next one, let's scroll on up. We have, this is Iron Rails number 4, H Rails plus Metal Trains. So this is a ATNX game pretty much at its core, where you are going to be building railway systems to connect them to different cities and towns, where you then can upgrade those towns and make them more profitable. But what's interesting about this one is that you're also going to be actually investing in the rail lines individually, not just having your own rail line that you're trying to make best. So what does that mean? Well, you see here you've got these railroad tracks. You got the red, blue, orange, yellow, purple, as well as the black. These are different. These are individual companies that you're going to be investing in and owning stock in. And so your benefit is to make those each individual rails better, but you don't want to be the only one investing in a rail, because if you get left behind, then you're going to be with the weakest company. So you're trying to hedge your bets and see, okay, what rails are doing well, where can I invest, what do I think will do well in the future, because the more a rail becomes more valuable in terms of their perceived value, the stock becomes more expensive, so it's harder to get into that company later in the game. This is a pretty interesting system. I was pretty excited by watching it. If you go down to the rewards, that's where I was at when we came here, you can get let's start here, the base game for $40. You can get this basic game. Doesn't include any of the metal trains. This is just a basic game. It includes 2 expansions as well. So you get the South Africa map, which is the base game, plus the Argentinian map and the Eastern United States map. So these are additional gameplay values, and I think for $40, you're probably getting a very good game for that price if ATNX economic games are your thing. But there's definitely room here, I think, in the meat to save some money if you wanted to. If we come on up to what they consider their primo, the one that they would like you to back, is the $100 train conductor pledge. Now, this is the same exact pledge as the one below, but it's going to be including these metal trains. There are 180 metal trains included in this, which are what you're going to be placing on the game board to indicate that the rails are being constructed. That is all personal preference. If you think those 180 trains are worth it over, say, the $40 pledge, that's up to you. You're spending $60 on those metal trains. And then for $200, you're going to get those metal trains as well. But you're also going to get all the backline of these games in this series. So you're going to be getting, I can't remember all the names of these. So you have the Irish Gauge, the Ride the Rails, and the Iberian Gauge. So these are things that you can get if you're really into this system. And this is something that you might have forgotten or not have gotten in a chance. This is a way to get all these lines, these games in this line. I think this game looks intriguing. I would love to play it, but I'm not an 18X player myself, so I'm not going to be backing this one. But I would love to play this one and give a chance to see what it's like, because I think economic games can sometimes have their place in a collection. So I'll have the link here for this late pledge if you'd like to take a look at that in the comments or in the links description down below. Okay, so the next one is the Terraforming Mars, Automa, Prelude 2, and more. And I thought this was funny. A lot of people talked about this, how this is the first expansion to an expansion. So it's like Prelude was an expansion to Terraforming Mars. Now we have Prelude 2. Now this is basically, if you don't know what Prelude is, Prelude adds a bunch of more corporations and starting benefits for the players, which kind of really enhanced the gameplay aspect for Terraforming Mars, making it easier for you to kind of get your engine going, give you a little bit more direction as well in terms of where you want to take your potential corporation to. And it was very well received, and I agree. I don't think I would ever play Terraforming Mars at this point without including Prelude. They're just kind of one and the same. And in fact, multiple times I'll play Terraforming Mars and we won't include other expansions because sometimes it just gets a little big, but Prelude is just a must include. It's always be part of the game. So Prelude 2 is going to be very much in that same line. You're going to be adding 5 new corporations, 25 Prelude cards, and 24 new project cards. So it's going to be basically increasing your entire collection of available options, giving you a little more stuff. What I also like is they're going to be giving these new milestone awards. Now, this was something that changed in Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition with the last expansion, which added variable milestones and awards, which really increased that game's viability for me. So here you're going to be doing the same, where you can have, instead of the normal milestones and awards that are based on the board, which is normally there, now you can change them and vary them up, giving people a different avenues of scoring points, or giving them a different change of pace to give a little bit more length and breadth to the Terraforming Mars experience. And then Automa, I'm not a solo player, so I'm not really interested in this at all. But if you are into that solo expansion experience, this would be perfect for someone who is into that. They are also offering some additional items here with the neoprene playmats. These are all the boards that are available for Mars if you want those in neoprene rather than the cardboard, as well as the expansions. And then you have just a bunch of different stuff, and they've had some new rule books and whatnot. But really, the core thing we're looking at here is the Prelude 2. I think that's the core draw to this pledge. Now, personally, you do you. I'm probably going to wait for a retail release of this and pick it up at that point, because I don't really. I used to chase with all of these Terraforming Mars, the promo cards, but the reality is, it's just I don't think it's as worth it as I think it should be. But this is a great experience, and if you're wanting to pick it up, get the free shipping. This could be for you as well as those promo cards. So the next one we're going to be talking about here is Shards of Infinity, the Saga Collection. Now, I talked about this game several weeks ago on one of my Back or Skip episodes, where I was really surprised when I was doing my research for this game of how much this one excited me, to the point where I actually ended up backing that game after that video was completed. So I am in this pledge. Now, I believe I just went with the Saga Collection, this $59 one up here, but it is a little bit intriguing to see some of this like playmats and sleeves. So the Saga Collection plus shields isn't bad because of the way these cards are made. These sleeves are like made specifically for how these cards are designed. But anyways, the Shards of Infinity is a deck builder game. Pretty standard route in terms of what a deck builder in game is going to be looking for you. You're going to have an open row of cards to build, to add to your collection, to your deck, as you go through and defeat whatever thing you need to win. The thing that really intrigued me for this one was the development house behind this game. Stoneblade Entertainment is the company that made Ascension. They're also Magic the Gathering professional players. So the people here know how to make a good card game. They know what makes an interesting interaction between cards and the complexity level there within that. I have such a hard time playing deck building games where the mechanics are good. Like, I love these deck building games, but they're so shallow because they're not willing to give you the depth of the card play to give you a chance to really build a deck. For example, I really liked Star Wars deck building game. I think it's a great game, but it's still really shallow. Like, you can only play so many times. You're like, okay, I think I've seen everything this has to offer until an expansion comes out. So Shards of Infinity is the Saga Collection. It's basically all the expansions as well as the Kickstarter exclusives bound to a single box. I think that's cool. And so I was all in on this one. Not all in. I went to the $60 pledge. But I'm very excited to check this one out and highly would recommend it. The next game, what do we got here? This is one that was talked about by everyone I was talking to. I think Alex Radcliffe loved this one, and everyone I was talking to was like, Dead Cells, Dead Cells. I love that game. This is Dead Cells, the roguelite board game. If you don't know what roguelite means, by the way, that is a PC gaming term when like retro gaming really started coming around, which is like a dungeon crawler where the dungeon is a procedural generated dungeon. So it's not like you're going down a set path. It's always random every time you load up a new dungeon. And that is really what you are seeing here. This is a procedural generated dungeon crawler. So you're going to have this track that you're going to be going through, but on these locations are going to be different tiles that are face down. And when you decide to go down a certain path, you'll flip a tile, and then that's going to reveal an award or a combat. Now, this is also a card playing game, so you're going to be having a deck of cards, such as these. You'll play them in the row into where the enemies are going to be spawning, activating their abilities, and the enemies are going to activate and deal damage back to you. It's been very highly touted. So this is one that people really were excited for. I never played this, so I can't give you a firsthand take on what it is, but a lot of people really enjoyed this one. So I would recommend, if you're interested in this and you're thinking about maybe backing it, watch some of the people that talked about it, had a first time experiences playing it, and get your take on it. Personally, for me, I'm going to be skipping this one. It just doesn't do enough from what I'm seeing. I think it's probably going to be a good midweight tier game, but not enough for me to make it into my collection. But it definitely could be something I think a lot of people would enjoy within their system. So you can watch the playthrough here. I watched a lot of this Brothers Murph content, so you can definitely check that out. I'm pretty sure Alex Radcliffe also checked this, like had coverage of this at some point. So there you go. That is Dead Cells, a roguelite game. Here is the pledge levels. So you have the collector's pledge is 115. I believe that's Canadian. So that gets you basically the collector's edition. They have a good breakdown between the standard edition and collector's edition, what's included and what's not included. So if you're looking for a breakdown in terms of those two pledge levels, that's where you would go for that. So coming out, the final two video games that we have to look at is Planet Unknown Supermoon. Planet Unknown came out like last year, I feel like. maybe a year and a half ago, blew people away. They love this freaking game. And this is a rondel kind of tableau, like a lazy Susan thing spinning in the middle, and you're going to be playing polyanomos on your specific planet. So the way that works is you're going to be sitting here. Let's say we're sitting at this blue planet here. Whoever the active player is just going to rotate this lazy Susan till it points to a tile they're going to grab. So let's say the purple player spins it to here. Well, that means now I have to take either this system or this system, and I have to place that inside my planet, following normal polynomial rules and covering up things, and also getting points and systems and trying to link things together. Now, this expansion adds in the moon for players to build on. So if that's another challenge you want to add, you have the new Supermoon expansion. So each player will alternatively also have, let's see if they have a picture of that anywhere. Nope, no pictures. They would have an alternative moon. So when you draft the card, you can be able to place it on your planet or your moon, doing normal polynomial rules based off that. And they also added another thing where if the tile you get spin to is not something you want at all, if you're like, this is not going to fit my needs, you've got a one-use tile that you can use that is every single player has one. It's like a 2x2 or a 2x1 tile, so that's something they can do. And so it has some cool stuff. They have some play mats. This game was very highly regarded in 2013 or late 2022. People wouldn't stop talking about it. Personally, for me, I put this as like a 6 out of a 10 for my play style, maybe like a 6.5. It's something that I'll play on occasion, but I'm not going to play this myself. But I'm in the minority of that. I'm not a big polynomial guy. My friends know that. It's just not a system that I enjoy in terms of the puzzle, but I know that this is very, very well received within the community. So I definitely recommend checking out if it's a game that you might like. Family weight, medium weight game, not too complex. The hardest thing is the puzzles that you're trying to complete as you're racing against everyone else, and then the limited resources inside the Lazy Susan. So the next one and the final one we're going to be talking about is Mythic Mischief Volume 2. I covered this as a campaign. I didn't do the actual campaign, but I had an opportunity to play Mythic Mischief Volume 2 with my friends and family. And here's an opportunity if you would like to late back this game, it is available. So the one thing I want to make sure we note is that they have Volume 1 if you want to pick up Volume 1. But if you are a Volume 1 owner, do note that they have, which is kind of like not a huge deal, but if you're like, I wanted to buy the painted minis and decided to buy one of these full boxes, these are now smaller sizes. They are going to be matching the sizes of Volume 2, which I think is an interesting choice, but they're going to have it all uniform now because the Mythic Mischief Volume 1 box is a very standard, good size, like not standard, it's a good size box. I would almost say it's like akin to like a Vita Lacerda type box, if you know what I'm talking about, like on Mars. But these ones are going to be more condensed and small with each. I think it has like 3 groups per box. So that's why now they have the Appendix A box. So just be aware of that this has 3 of the groups from the original game. And then this has 3 of the original groups. You have Zombies, Vampires, this is 4. Zombies, Vampires, Franks, and Wizards. And then this one has the Ghosts, Trolls, and Witches. So just be aware of that if you're going to be picking this up. This also featured during the campaign painted miniatures. So you've got replacement minis for Volume 1, but you also would have to pick up the appendix miniatures as well if you have that Volume 1, so be aware of that. You'd have to pick these guys up here to replace your Volume 1 miniatures. And then they have, up here, they've got the Groundskeeper, the painted Groundskeeper, if you want that as well as a bunch of different things. They got the pins. I really like these kind of pins. I think they're kind of cool to collect and whatnot. And then you can also pick up any of their other games in their line, Mythic Mischief, what is this? This is Moonrakers and Veiled Fate, and as well as Fractured Sky, which I really, really enjoyed Fractured Sky as well. So you can pick up any of those games from their collection if you would like. That is Mythic Mischief. I didn't even talk about this game as I just talked about what you can get. Mythic Mischief is a asymmetrical dueling game where you are going to be taking on one of those classmate roles. So you're going to be like a vampire or the werewolves or the ghosts, and every faction has their own ability. So and effectively what you're doing, you're causing chaos inside the school where you're trying to, like, if you're in the second version, you're in the garden. In the first version, you're in the library. And you're trying to get your classmates captured by the headmaster so you can get them sent to detention. The person who has their friends capture the most by the end of the second round will be the winner. And the way you do that is by using your abilities that are unique to your faction to manipulate the ground, the way the board is built, by moving the groundskeeper or headmaster, or effectively moving your opponent's pieces as well. So it's a very thinky game, very, very puzzly. I would akin it to like the brain power sometimes of chess, where you'll be sitting there staring at the game board being like, man, what do I do? How do I manipulate this board to get the things I want to do? It's a pretty interesting game. It's a puzzle, not for everyone, but definitely one that I enjoy at a time. It has its place. So that's it. We're gonna go and wrap this up. I appreciate you guys for watching the show. My name is Brian. If you want to support the channel, please check out my Patreon. Links are down below. Any support greatly helps the channel, as well as my Discord. If you want to chat with me or any of my friends, we are always having good conversations in there, family friendly. Thank you for watching. I will talk to you very soon. Be good people.